Beth?
Mm-hmm.
Ellie?
I said button.
I'm here.
Okay. Io?
Yep.
Jen?
Yep.
Alvin? Alvin? Alvin!
Okay.
Oh. The best part is, I did that instead of saying, with me tonight are a bunch of awesome people.
Christmas time is here.
Oh my
We haven't finished our Christmas one-shot yet.
oh.
We're working on it. In any case,
It'll be
hello.
about that time nonetheless.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're surprised that Noel's favorite holiday is Christmas? I don't know what you mean. Anyway, hello and welcome to Cause and Effect.
This episode is dedicated.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This episode is dedicated to the memories of Shelley Duvall, Dr. Ruth Westheimer, and Richard Simmons.
Oof. Yeah.
And now we're really dating when we record this.
Yeah.
But hello, welcome to Cause and
Hello
Effect.
and welcome.
On that downer of a note, welcome to Cause and Effect. This is the fourth time I'm saying that, I think. Third or fourth time. It's a homebrew
okay.
Dungeons and Dragons game where I start talking about the introduction 2 minutes into the recording. And in this game, everything is the player's fault. Not the character's fault. Matter of fact, we have 2 new characters tonight because last session we mitosis to the party. The party's split.
They both seem to be they were very time-sensitive things, it seemed like. So,
Yes.
what else could
And-
we do?
Well, you could have treated it like a MMO or a TTRPG. Not TTRPG. This is a TTRPG. An MMO or
Yes.
a video game where when you're doing the one activity, the other one just stays paused for you, waiting patiently. But also, this is a game
You wouldn't.
where everything is the player's fault. So you decided
Right.
that maybe you didn't want to let the other thing fall apart while you do the first thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You see, some DMs will railroad their players. Others will give them so many choices they decide splitting the party and adding more characters so that the parties are operating at full strength while split is the best possible option. Guess where we are
This
now?
is your fault, Crash.
I simply gave you the ingredients. You could have made anything with it.
And what we made was spaghetti.
Well, for this session, yes, because you're going to the town of Oregano, or if you're a filthy American, Oregano. But America doesn't exist in Dungeons and Dragons unless you
Probably.
deal with certain short stories that involve Elminster from the 80s or 90s. I forget which. But never mind about that.
There was a cartoon, you know.
There's that also, and canonically, Elminster the Mage did come to the United States, crack open a beer in the kitchen of the guy who created Elminster, and have conversations with him. There's illustrations for it and everything. Because of course there are. So, for this particular group, you decided you were going to take care of 2 different quests. There is the quest, and I realize I have none of my notes open. I had them open for most of the day because I was prepping for 2 different campaigns. There's 2 different quests you can do here. Both of them are related to the community in the on-again, off-again mining town of Oregano. It used to be a salt mining community, and then it got wiped out, and then it was left in a shambles for a very long time, and then somebody named Tim, who had a whole bunch of people he was taking care of, was given the suggestion of, hey, there's this little out-of-the-way place where you might be able to find a home. The last people who lived there really liked it. Doesn't get a lot of sun, but that's okay for the kind of people who you are shepherding. And Tim thought that was a great idea and went there. What I'm leaving out is Tim is an undead warlock, and the people who he was shepherding were all zombies.
I mean, zombies need a place to exist if they're not, going after other people's brains and being bad neighbors.
They don't tend to go after brains. They're also not unreasonable. They're not going to eat your
But-
eyes. That's a reference.
And as long as they're not being bad neighbors, you know?
Well, yeah. They're not. Well, that's the nice thing about Oregano. It is an underground salt mine. They don't have neighbors. There's two ways to get there, really. One of them, the way that's frequently used, is through a harbor that wasn't there before, but there was a kraken built that was sort of imprisoned under the cliffside, and when it woke up, it made a giant hole in the cliff, and now they've got a harbor.
Oh, wait a minute. What? There was a crack in what?
There was a crack in the cliffside.
Ah.
Formed by the kraken.
Ah.
The
Okay.
cliff.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
This is the crack in the cliffside formed the crack in the cliffside formed the crack in the cliffside, and this is just recursive all over again. Imagine that sort of fading out in the distance, but never quite fading out enough. It always reduces its volume by half, never by 100%. Yeah, we needed a harbor. Get Kraken, says Beth, who groans at other people's puns.
Yep.
We
I'm holding up
accept
my
you,
halo.
one of us. Also, you already have inspiration. And for what Ellie said earlier, Ellie would have gotten a point of inspiration, but Ellie also already has inspiration.
I don't think Flinnery has inspiration, so I'm giving Flinnery inspiration.
Fair and valid.
Can I give Quill my inspiration?
Sure. We won't see these characters until the other arc that is happening simultaneous to this one. But never mind about that.
That's why I started.
So this has been going quite well for Tim and his undead. He doesn't like calling them minions. I mean, they do exactly what he tells them to do. And he could command them to act like an army. That's why they were originally gathered. But he's not a fan of that idea. So usually he refers to them as charges or whatever. The other way to get to Oregano, and the way that was used primarily by the original inhabitants, is an underground train, which isn't... Oh, Ellie, I know where that picture's from. the most useless kraken in all of animation.
I remember that Kraken now.
Yes. So I am almost 10 minutes into this recording, and I'm still going over what's going on in this scenario. The train is not used as much because of the harbor, except now it has to be used more because Sahuagin, anthropomorphic shark-like people who are vehemently opposed to sea elves, and maybe kind of sort of were in league with the Kraken, plural Kraken, from the Hit and Abyss campaign, have been, harassing not the people of Oregano directly, although that was happening too, but they've been making it very hard for ships to come in part because the other quest is, hey, there's a dragon turtle that keeps sinking all the ships that try to trade with us. We'd like someone to do something about that, please. And these two quests were on the quest board for quite some time, and no one picked them up until your group did, in part because Emil, who is a young man who visited Flotsam and Flag Headquarters, basically started doing the equivalent of cold calls, going up to various high-ranking guild members saying, hi, are you part of this guild cohort? Okay, yes, you are on my list. I was wondering, would you like to take this quest? No? Okay. Thanks anyway. But Emil's luck changed when Emil approached a very large warforged holding a large chunk of machinery over a gnome. Also, the Fire Nation attacked, but that was on another plane of reality, so no one cared. And so you have gathered up your stuff, but because the party is splitting, you had to acquire additional assistance because you didn't want to go into this understaffed. So you have two original members who happen to be Hobby and Tex, but you have 2 new members who are coming in as basically, I don't want to call them substitute adventurers.
Pinch hitters.
Pinch hitters, possibly. Okay. And
People who've clearly been soloing a lot, and we just, pick them up.
Or are in between cohorts, but they still want to do adventuring. So they basically hang out in the LFG channel.
Yeah.
So we have Isily Mistberry, and we have Merrick. Who would like to introduce themselves first?
I'll go. Merrick is a halfling barbarian with wild magic somehow, and kind of looks the part of it. He seems to be wearing like a wolf skin over his head and shoulders, and holding a large mallet of some type.
Which is very funny to me because
yeah,
the weapon that Merrick has on the character sheet is a great axe.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Huh. Weird.
We can change that.
It looks like a hammer. It's fine.
Yes.
Whatever it is, it's
well,
that. Okay.
Yeah. The art is the art.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got Merrick, who's coming in to help out. And we also have Isily.
Isily, who is a cleric of Sirolali.
It is such a good thing that A is not here. Because A would get hung up on how many syllables are in the god name.
Okay.
But please continue.
Oh, don't worry about it. If you can't say it, you can call her the Hearth Keeper.
Well, could I call her the warming god?
Sorry.
Yeah, that's a reference for a different game altogether that one person in this group is a participant in. And they've currently muted themselves. Anyway. Okay. So the Hearth Keeper or Hearth Keeper, I've heard it pronounced both ways. But, okay. I didn't know the hearth needed keeping. It sort of just sits there.
Well,
If
if you
you're
don't
not paying
keep it, the
attention.
fire burns out.
And someone might steal it.
Okay. I was gonna say, that's a lot of rock to steal. I don't think I'd be able to do that. But coming from a warforged as large as Tex, I'm more inclined to believe that someone would just come over, pick the hearth up, and walk out the door with it. Possibly leaving a wider doorway.
I had to do that once when a dwarf put a forge in the middle of the street. It was very inconvenient.
Who would do such a thing?
I never met the man.
Oh.
Anyway.
75% by volume references to other games. Which was most of the intro, actually.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Yes. So, you've all gathered in the green circle that is the teleportation circle to teleport you to Oregano. And Emil is there with you. For Emil, this is a one-way trip because Emil does not have a flagstone, but Flag Headquarters is being very generous and allowing him to tag along. Also, they're letting you know that for the next few days, the teleportation circles...
That's not very nice. He has a name, I'm sure. Even if what you expect to happen to him when we get to Oregano is unsavory.
No, it's like when you buy a train ticket, you can get a one-way trip or you can get a round trip. We're not sending him there and bringing him back. He lives there. He's going home. If we bring him back, he's probably not going to be happy.
But you don't have to call him Emil. You can call him by his name. The zombies aren't like that.
Emil is... Emil's hood is voluminous. And Emil is trying to sink deeper into it during this conversation.
Oh, no.
This conversation is not actually happening.
Oh, no. But this is what would be happening in the out-of-context fan-made animation that people would find on YouTube. Anyway.
Right.
So you all hop in the green circle
Not
and...
like they're the T-Rex in Jurassic Park.
The what now? Anyway.
We all hop in the green circle.
And Member Services does let you know that for the next couple of days, unfortunately, the teleportation services are going to be down for maintenance. There have been some issues with some more chaotic magics that were being teleported through the circles multiple times, and you'd think that wouldn't cause a problem unless you have a couple doctorates in magical theory, in which case, basically every couple of months they bring someone in that does have a couple of doctorates in magical theory, and when they say what they've been doing with the teleportation circles in various wards, they check the blood pressure of said expert, and if it exceeds a certain amount, they get maintenance done. In this case, they called a cleric.
Don't
Well,
worry.
You cast greater restoration.
They'll be
I don't
fine.
have blood pressure, so I'm pretty sure I'll be fine.
You faintly
I'm
hear
sorry, I talked over
from
you.
the barbershop. No, it's perfect. You faintly hear from the barbershop the screams of the medical expert who's currently being treated by Cogbucket Senior. Like, you won't be fine. That's just it. All your insides will be on your outsides, and that'll be before you explode.
I thought
Oh.
transporter accidents merged people. Hey, Tex, you gonna be okay having a tail?
I've never had one before. We'll find out.
Okay, ready.
Can we go now? I feel like we've been
I
standing
hope
on this
so.
green circle for 20 minutes,
You
which
probably have. Let's go.
seems to be standard, I'm told, for green circles.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I've never
Well,
stood in
green
one
square.
before.
It's like
And-
that. You get used to it after a while.
And you are,
Says we're good to go.
as you are saying that, you are looking around to see that you are in a town square. The town is underground. There is the strong smell of salt water. The ground appears to be covered in salt. Actually, strike that. The ground seems to be made of salt. There are various wooden structures about, some of them in better repair than others. And there are various townsfolk coming around and doing things and carrying stuff. And, yep, most of them look very dead.
Huh.
Okay, so, we're here. I should probably introduce you to Tim.
All right. Who's Tim?
Very well.
Tim's our, mayor? I think?
Oh, a mayor. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't really had an election, but by default, like most people just follow Tim anyway, so Tim's in charge. Tim's the one paying for it, but Tim would not probably be welcome most places outside of Oregano. It'll be more obvious when you see Tim.
You're saying that he's heartbeat impaired.
We all are, yes.
Okay.
Longtime listeners will know that Tim is when we found out that you can put zombies back together with mending.
Yes.
And that was after Tim had been an established character for some time. The kobolds did
Yes.
it.
Yes.
It was not just
Kobolds
mending.
did it wrong, and then put it back. Yeah. Yep.
Yes. Well, it wasn't just mending. There were other things that were done, and there were some roles required as well, if I remember correctly. So you are taken to a building that does have a dilapidated sign out front that says Town Hall. It is sort of like half repainted, but half not repainted. And Emil has you come in, and you see a desk in the common room of this particular town hall, behind which is sitting a corpse with a grayscale floral bonnet sitting on the table next to him. It's weird. It's like it was a colorful floral bonnet, but it has been totally sapped of all color. It is just shades of gray now. They've got various papers covering the desk and are currently having a conversation with what appears to be a human and some type of undead that is not a zombie, because they are actually having a conversation with Tim. When you come in, the two people that Tim has been talking to take a look at you. Tim says, "If you'll excuse us for a moment, these appear to be our troubleshooters." And the two individuals
Indeed.
nod and leave the room. I
Is
see.
Emil still with us?
Yes. I see that Emil
We
was
have-
successful.
Indeed. He approached me while I was holding up a very large piece of machinery. It was quite interesting.
Tim gives a
And-
look to Emil when this is said. You can't see Emil's expression because giant hood.
Mhm.
Oh,
Think.
don't give him that look, please. It was interesting. I have never been approached while I was counting upwards by threes before. I did not know what to make of it, but he sounded sincere, and so I decided I would come to help. I brought some friends. These are Hobby, Isily,
Hi.
and Merrick.
Pleasure to meet you.
Indeed.
Yes, the paladin of Teriish and the cleric of
Dot, dot, dot.
the Hearthkeeper. A pleasure, I'm sure.
Poppy sweeps a bow because she has watched Cavill do things like this in the past, and a great big flamboyant bow is absolutely appropriate for a rogue.
Turns into falling over and getting him back on her feet because she had seen Cavill do the swoop in midair, like full bow.
No, she's not going to fall over because you see, she has a tail to balance with.
Ah.
But if you want me to, I can make a dex check.
No, I'm just enjoying the Willy Wonka thing.
Oh, okay.
I get it. Okay. Mhm.
So, anyone who cares to give me a perception check. Or don't if your
Perception
your passive perception is 13 or higher.
Okay, my
Um,
passive perception is 15.
Okay. When Tim says Paladin of
Where's my
Teriish,
passive? Dear stars! What the?
Is it good or bad?
No, that's the. Something
Oh.
very loud started happening, and I looked outside, and it was the rain.
I told you it was raining.
There's my perception.
Also, your passive perception is next to your perception on the right.
So I did
yeah, it's a
wrong.
small number.
No, you did it exactly right.
Oh, okay.
Also, Merrick rolled a
Right.
nat 20.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mine's 14.
Yes. So everyone who got higher than a 12 through passive or otherwise
I got a 12. Oh well.
notices that when Tim says Paladin of Teriish, Emil visibly flinches.
Hmm.
Tries to not flinch, but you see it. Merrick, for the
Yeah, I
briefest
think
of
I
moments,
noticed.
thinks that Emil was punched in the gut.
Oh dear.
Hmm.
Hobby does not dress like a paladin. She dresses like a rogue.
And yet Tim knew you were a Paladin
Blocked
of
the
Teriish.
paladin part.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe flag headquarters sent messages ahead.
That is an assumption you can make. Tim continues.
You are
cut out there,
welcome.
Sorry.
Tim continues. You are welcome here, I assure you. I welcome you personally. I know Emil is eager for you to do what you have come to do. Although you may find that not all the sentient citizens of this town are quite as understanding as I am. Understand that, as you already have seen, this town is not for the living, and the undead have a history of not getting along well with those who draw power from certain celestial agencies.
So long as I'm not getting hit, that's fine. I mean, you've got a dragon turtle problem.
Yes,
Might
do.
be unorthodox for me to be here, but you're defending your home.
we've tried to defend it. We're actually not that bad at defending it, but the ships that tried to get to our harbor, that is a bit of a different story.
And Tex has posted to chat, know your enemy. If you spend at least 1 minute observing or interacting with another creature outside of combat, you can learn information about its capabilities compared to your own. Strength score, dexterity score, constitution score, armor class, current HP, total class levels if any, fighter class levels if any, and click for more details.
Wow.
this is where the DM remembers that he didn't actually import Tim's stats into Foundry, because the last time Tim appeared in a campaign, we weren't using Foundry.
I'm just curious of what Tim's level is.
You could squish Tim like a bug if you wanted to.
Okay.
Tim's power is
to most people.
Yeah.
But
Tim's power is not from being inherently strong and powerful. Tim's power is from experience and being in the right place at the right time with the right people after having been in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong ancient dragon trying to be a god.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I was just curious.
It's
not every day I get to spend a full minute in the company of someone I'm not trying to hit.
As someone who was underneath the machinery you were holding up, and you were holding that for well more than a minute, I am somewhat concerned by this statement, or would be if I was canonically present for you to say that.
Oh, it's quite true. I'm well aware that I could squash you like a bug, but I choose not to. I like you.
Can we not talk about squishing me like a bug when you could have just let go of that thing and done exactly that?
And I didn't do that. That's the point. Anyway.
Assuming this is going through one of those little stones, you know? And we're like all hearing it going, what are you doing?
No, this is out of context. 100% out of context. Yes. It's like, imagine, if you will, every now and then, and by every now and then I mean constantly, the party breaks the fourth wall to have conversations. All the voice actors are in the recording room, going back and forth in between recording their lines.
Yeah. Yes, obviously.
The voice actors for Mo and Monty constantly step in to give additional comments. They're mostly
earlier.
Actually, they're running the soundboard.
Oh. Okay.
It's sort of like those two Muppets up the critique fellows.
That was Statler and Waldorf. Yeah.
Yes, them.
All right. I love how you cast Fireball, but could you try it again with a little bit more maniacal laughter? Just a little bit more. Try to really sell it.
This time with feeling.
Oh, I love this game so much. So
the issue is there will be some citizenry in the town who are on a bit of a hair trigger, considering who we brought in. And on the whole, we have been able to keep the Sahuagin out of town the times that they tried to come in, and let them know at the same time that, unlike most land-based targets, we are perfectly fine with pursuing them into the water since we don't need to breathe. Since then, they've changed their tactics to a blockade. Yes. It's very difficult to ship salt out when the ships can't come in, and those that do don't always make it out. In general, the ships have stopped coming. We still have the ability to use train cars, but the trains don't come frequently enough.
Depth charges, maybe.
So you want us to fight the Sahuagins, or you want us to go after the dragon turtle? Or both?
We suspect they're related, but the dragon turtle may decide to hang around if the Sahuagin problem is dealt with, and dealing with the dragon turtle won't stop the Sahuagin blockade, so it will have to be both.
Unless we could sucker the dragon turtle into eating the Sahuagin.
We suspect some of that has happened.
Really that kind of... Not really that kind of, I'm not a druid.
No, okay, that's fine.
Actually, my understanding is dragon turtles are like a lot less turtle and more dragon. So being a druid wouldn't help.
I would love to continue this conversation, but being in charge of a small community of undead who are more routinely actively killing and in some cases devouring the living, but instead are trying to make a living and buy our corpses and blood through legitimate endeavors, requires a lot of time and effort. It's a good thing I don't need to sleep. Emil here, I'm sure, will be happy to answer all of your questions. He hasn't been here long, but he's been a very quick study.
Very well. Thank you for your time. We'll consult with Emil.
No, I assure you, we are the ones who'll be grateful for anything you're able to do.
And you are ushered out of the town hall.
Oh, okay.
Usher.
Right. So, if
Right.
you want to set up in the inn,
We'll
we
need
could
a boat.
do that. Hmm?
We'll need a boat.
We have some smaller boats, nothing that can carry like a lot of gear. Emil is looking directly at Tex when Emil is saying this. We might need 2 boats, maybe 3. It's okay. It's if you're okay with rowing, we do have some boats.
Well,
I
we'd
do not require a boat.
The scene from Pirates of the Caribbean,
Everybody just stops
but we
and
just
looks at
see
Tex.
Yeah,
we just see
everybody looks
Tex
at
walking across the
Eric's
bottom.
trying to figure out, like, yeah. That.
So
we
I-
might
that-
need to go up.
This is true.
it depends on who you're going after, the Sahuagin or under the water.
If the Sahuagin brought the dragon turtle, then dealing with the dragon turtle might make them. They might get morale problems. Oh no, their dragon turtle is no longer an issue.
How do we know it's theirs? Maybe it was there
We
first.
don't. Hmm.
Well, it showed up shortly after the blockade
Emil?
started.
Ah.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been following them for scraps, but if it's more dragon and less turtle,
It wasn't following them for scraps so much as it was following them for treasure, probably. They could have made a deal with it, or if there were enough of them, they could have badgered it into being here, and once it realized that there were ships it could sink for treasure, it started doing that.
mm.
All right. So where do we start?
Where does the dragon turtle hang out? Do you know?
Like, outside the harbor by 2 or 3 hours by sail.
That's a bit far. Do you know where
All
this
right.
is?
Go ahead.
Trying to figure out which one's closest. I mean, low hanging fruit and all that.
Well, the
Tex is
Sahuagin...
meanwhile scanning the city.
The city has a town hall, an inn, and a few stores, in addition to a large collection of buildings that are in various states of repair that appear to likely be the undead equivalent of bunkhouses. There's also a few buildings that
Ew,
look
cut
like
out.
grain silos, but they're actually more salt silos.
The undead equivalent of houses is what you missed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. Are the Sahuagin appearing in a different place from the dragon turtle?
Yes, the Sahuagin aren't so much attacking the ships, although they do that occasionally from what we've been able to figure out. It's mostly the dragon turtle that's been doing that. The Sahuagin were doing like raids every now and then, and now if any of us go out scouting, we find the equivalent of underwater picket lines.
Huh.
Because we may have sort of just swum into some of their camps and killed a large number of them on occasion.
Do you have anyone who's raising dead Sahuagins?
So
That sounds awful.
Yes. Well,
you're new
Yeah.
here, so
Yeah.
I'm going to take your statement as one that came from ignorance. So just so you know, those of us here who are still capable of thought aren't happy that we're dead. We didn't want
Ah.
this. We don't like this. We are choosing to not embrace the worst of it, but we're also not exactly ready to deal with a true death. But we're very much not interested in
apologize.
increasing our numbers.
I apologize. I was being overly pragmatic.
It would solve a lot of problems for us if we were morally and ethically okay with exponential growth from bolstering our ranks by just making more of us from our victims. That's what my sire thought.
Mm.
And then Tim and a bunch of his friends killed my sire.
I take it that you approve.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, my sire killed my mentor.
Jerk.
Whole
was.
chain of events.
Yeah,
Wow.
if you're a vampire spawn, you don't really have a lot of agency. I got that back after my sire was killed.
Oh, good.
That's good.
So,
I see.
if I'm to infer things, you're not 100% keen on rowing out to the dragon turtle, but only one of you is currently equipped for walking along the ocean floor.
That'd be correct. If I had some time, I could pray for water breathing. I'm pretty sure that's on the cleric spell list.
We do have some shops here.
I have heard tell of hats that would help with this.
Fun fact,
I'm going to be so wet.
if Jen looks at their character sheet, they happen to have 3 magic items: a great axe +2, a belt of dwarven kind, and a cap of water breathing.
Okay.
Caps of water breathing are uncommon magical items. Uncommon magical items are one step away from being dirt cheap to adventurers,
That's cool. Okay. I found
especially level 11 adventurers.
Yeah.
That does
Alright.
sound like something to pick up,
Mhm.
possibly even before we left, depending. How much would one of those cost? And do they require? They don't require attunement, right?
In the flag shop, they're 300 apiece.
Okay. I'm looking at these items. Yeah, that'll work.
I would be more than happy to have picked some up for the group.
I mean, I could pick one up if they're how much? 300, you say?
Yes.
Yes, but you have expenses.
I have a lot of gold.
Yeah. And Merrick just came in with these items, so I'm assuming
I
he
will
adventures a
delete
lot.
300.
Oh, you actually have more gold than I do.
Yeah.
All right, you
well,
can spend it.
Yes, I
So-
just deleted 300 from it.
Emil takes you into the shop, and there is a being with gray skin, no hair on them at all, pointed ears, and they are reading a book with their feet propped up on the countertop until Emil opens the door, in which case they are startled and fall backwards off of their chair and out of sight.
Hello.
Blah.
Hi.
Sorry. Wasn't expecting, any visitors. Can I help you?
Is the ceiling tall enough for me to stand at full height inside?
You might leave a few marks on the support joists.
I will stay outside.
Okay.
I'll keep watch.
Most of the citizenry don't give you a second look because they're operating under rote commands, but there's a few more intelligent ones that do stare at you a bit as they walk past. Most of them looking up to stare at you. There is what appears to be an undead hill giant of some kind that does look down at you, you think.
Are there any magic items in this shop that will keep me dry and breathing underwater?
Oh, myth, of course. We tend to usually have magical items for sailors and seamen. So, yes, we usually have things that people would want when they were on a boat.
Like staying dry and breathing underwater? At the
Don't
same
think I
time?
have anything for staying dry.
Oh,
Usually they have someone cast prestidigitation.
By the way, they're speaking like this because their tongue is abnormally large. Like they're
Oh,
having
dear.
trouble keeping it in their
I
mouth.
figured there was hobby droops. I don't have prestidigitation. My sibling has prestidigitation. Sad kid.
I don't think you want me to try to dry you off with thaumaturgy.
You enter a sonic shower.
There might be a lot of therapy.
Exactly. That is exactly where I was going with.
You make a loud noise, and all of the water that was on Hobby is now 5 feet to the left. Also, you
And all
appear
the
to have
fur is
cloned.
all
You appear to
left.
have cloned Hobby because there is an exact duplicate of Hobby made of cat fur that then collapses in a wet mass.
Talk about a hairball.
At first, you thought Hobby was just pushed 5 feet to the left, but no. Actual Hobby, original Hobby, is currently hanging from one of those support joists by all the claws.
Oh no.
But Hobby is dry.
Huh?
Well, if you use thaumaturgy to dry Hobby, I would let you do that. There would just be repercussions for your choices. There would be a cause and an effect. Roll credits! Okay.
It would be a constitution save against deafen.
Oh dear.
We do also have means of creating fresh water. I do have a periapid with water if you would like.
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry, I
A periapid
probably
with
have
water?
something in my...
They're offering to sell us more water.
Yes, but fresh water.
I don't need water. I need less water.
I also have a jar that makes mayonnaise. It's good for cookouts.
Hobbies.
Ooh. Maybe when after we get whatever payment, maybe.
I'll
Emil,
just go for something that could be...
yeah. Emil clears his throat and says, "We're looking for caps of water breathing. We need, I think, 2 of them at this point."
Oh, yeah, those are 300 goalies. No problem.
I've already got one.
Protection from water, cantrip, abjuration. For 1 hour, you cannot get wet in any way. For the duration of the spell, anytime your face is not immersed in water, your eyes are sore and itchy, but at least you're dry. Oh no.
Oh no.
Ellie, please tell me you made this up.
I made this up.
Okay.
Oh.
Poppy would like to exchange coin for wares.
Okay. The shopkeep goes over to one of those cubbies that you'll see in like clothing stores where it just has items stacked in there that are all the same. And it is currently half full of caps of water breathing.
If the GM could move one over, I will subtract the appropriate amount of gold.
I might
I
be
can't figure out
able
how to move.
to do that. The question is,
I could not figure out how.
can I just drag it from one character sheet to another? Because that would be awfully convenient. Actually, this is more trouble than it's worth to have 2 character sheets open on the screen at once. So I am going to just go to items. Because that makes a smaller window.
Uh-huh. Yeah, losing pop out is a real pain in the nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to exist in GURPS. But for some reason, I think that's built into GURPS, the way it pops out. Because the actual pop-up mod isn't in there. Yeah, when we play GURPS Wars, I still see pop-out.
Yeah, so do I. I'm just surprised that it's part of the GURPS mod. I thought it was part of its own
not
mod.
part of the GURPS mod. It's because of the new overlay. The D&D mod, even with the old style sheets, doesn't have the pop-out capability anymore.
Yeah, I see that. But the GURPS sheets have a pop out on them.
Right. I'm saying it's deliberately removed from the D&D sheets.
Well, that's a nuisance.
Yes.
When I updated Foundry to the current version, I was told, and these are mods that are not updated and will no longer work. And one of those was pop-out.
Huh.
Because it had not been updated in a while. So if there's a pop-out feature in other rule sets, it's not from that being an installed mod.
Oh, weird.
Because, yeah.
Well, I noticed it on the Cypher ones, too. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't quite understand it. I thought it got uninstalled when I updated because it wasn't compatible at all. But maybe the code is just linked. I don't know. Ours is not to wonder why. Ours is just to crit fail
Ours
and
is
die.
just to move the magic items.
Which, at this point, everyone who needs a cap of water breathing should have a cap of water breathing. Emil does not need a cap of water breathing. Okay, so do we have everything we need?
Hope so.
Hobby is
Except for the part
desperately
where I'm going to get wet.
Hobby is desperately in need of a ring of prestidigitation that does nothing but gives you the ability to cast the prestidigitation cantrip as an action, so that as you're going
Stay
underwater,
dry.
just using every action to cast it over and over again to form a bubble.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Alas.
Tex looks in the door. While we're here, knowing as I do the properties of light underwater, raise your hand if you can see in the dark.
Hobby raises her hand.
I've got dark vision as well. About 60 feet.
Very well.
I don't, but it's okay. I can cast light.
You'll be like those fancy fish that they have the great big fangs and stuff, and they hang out a little light to attract attention.
Oh, I like to think I'm nicer than an anglerfish.
No, we're the anglerfish. You're the little light.
No, some of the Sahuagin look like anglerfish too.
All right.
It's really creepy.
Besides, there's nothing wrong with angling. All I'm saying is if they happen to flock to the light that you're casting, then all of us who are not casting light will be there.
And
Hobby smiles. There are a few fangs in it.
official ruling from the developers is that spells that have a verbal component, you just have to make the sounds. It doesn't matter if anyone can hear the sounds clearly. They can be garbled by environmental conditions. But if you can make the sound, the spell works, which does mean that you can cast it underwater. If you are choosing to cast Fireball underwater, you are not going to enjoy the experience as much, but you could technically still do it.
I think then you get an explosion of steam.
Yes, I think the Fireball does half damage.
So you're saying I shouldn't use Searing Smite?
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, you've got so many other smites at your disposal.
I do. It's great.
Jen, I'm looking at your character sheet. Where does it say that you've got dark vision?
If you look over off the side in the last thing that I put, it says that the belt of dwarven kind is giving.
Oh,
you
that's right.
vision.
That's right.
Oh, sure
Okay.
enough.
Yeah.
Because I forgot that was... I read it to you when I was giving it to you, and I forgot
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the things it was giving. So when you said, oh yeah, I've got dark vision, I thought, wait, you're a halfling. Why do you
Right.
have...
This is how he's getting dark vision.
Yes.
With the belt of dwarven kind.
Yes.
Probably going to be growing a beard as it goes too. Yeah.
Well, canonically, I would say your character has had this for a while, and it's a 50% chance per day of you just waking up with a beard. So unless you are actively shaving, at this point, chances are you have a beard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you are
He's
shaving,
fine with that.
chances are you also have a beard.
Right. Yeah, he's just gonna roll with that.
Halflings aren't known for growing impressive beards. Sideburns, sometimes. Beards, now people think you're just a skinny dwarf.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
All right. So
I'm gonna leave some of my stuff that's technically equipped, like pouches of, like soap and I might be here for a few days, toothbrush, soap, etc., and set them sort of. There's a safe place I can put these.
we can get you some rooms at the inn. That'll be a secure place to put your stuff, sure.
Ah.
Great.
Okay.
Everything that is not going to be happy in the water.
People give me perception checks as you're walking to the inn.
Perception checks.
Perception, all I ever wanted.
You know what?
Is this about that 9 that you've turned into a 16?
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
because I have been paying attention while I've been standing out here.
Does having a passive of 19 help?
Very much so.
Okay.
All right. So I have done some rolls, and I am comparing them to your rolls. And I will say that as you are walking towards the inn is one of those buildings where it is really close to the wall of this giant salt mine cave that you are in. There's no buildings behind the inn. The inn is the building that's behind the other buildings. And it doesn't tend to be frequented much because everyone who's here tends to live here for varying definitions of the word live, which is to say that the inn is out of the way, which means if you're trying to sneak through town, you might try going behind the inn en route to another location. Like, say, the opening to the train tunnel, which used to be the main entrance and exit, so the inn was built close-ish to there. Not right next to it, but close-ish. It's on the way. So it is fortuitous that everyone who rolled a 16 or higher notices some shadowy figures walking in an out-of-the-way location. And your first thought is, well, more zombies. Because they're sort of shambling the way you've seen many of the zombies shamble. But that one, the one carrying a couple large barrels, they're carrying a couple large barrels because they've got 4 arms. So they're using 2 arms per barrel. And the parts of the arms that are sticking out from underneath their dripping cloak are green and scaly.
Emil, would it be wrong of me to...
Emil still with us?
Yes. Emil was going to walk you to the
Leading
inn
the
to
way
set up
to-
the rooms.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
Emil, how many species of people reside in Oregano?
Well, I can tell you, those 3 over there look like they're from out of town. But we've been playing for about an hour. What do you say we take a short break before we roll for initiative?
That sounds like a great idea.
We are back, and absolutely no conversation happened while we were gone. None whatsoever.
None at all.
None at all.
Nothing. Total silence.
Yes.
No
Ignore.
major news events occurred while we were gone.
This is true, and also there were no mannequins. These are totally unrelated to things. Yes. So, we rolled for initiative, however, over the break. And my helper NPC is going first with a 22. The GM has feelings about this because the GM did not make the helper NPC with the idea that they were going to be a powerhouse in combat.
I mean,
Vampires are
going
strong.
first may mean screaming and running and hiding behind us.
Do that.
One of those things take place, but just the
Okay.
one. And if I do a quick look over his features to make sure I'm doing the right thing. By the way, fun fact, if you're a vampire character and you have and you look at your character sheet in D&D Beyond, the text for this is very funny to me. Look at what it says for stake to the heart. The vampire spawn uses stake to the heart. No, I'm pretty sure they don't. I don't think that's how that works.
I think they stake someone else. I've played a lot of vampire games, not on this channel, and yeah, that's how that goes. Not you don't stake yourself. You know?
Yeah, it's because every ability, the text for it being used is the name of character uses name of action. That's the formula. But stake
Okay.
to the heart is a weakness. It's not an ability.
Oh,
Right.
Yes.
So Emil draws his rapier and makes a beeline for these 3 figures who are wearing water-soaked cloaks.
oh no, they're wet.
They are wet.
That's going to be a problem.
And Tuxa, now why did I never think of that? Tex uses boot to the head. Nah. And having run over to them, Emil is going to attempt a rapier attack. Because this will definitely work well.
Oh no.
Probably. Maybe. Likely not.
Concerning. Hey,
I'm
Tex.
assuming that we're about 30 feet from them.
Yes. Well, with theater reminding it. That's a crit fail. I rolled a nat 1 on the first roll of combat.
Oh no.
Yes.
Or-
Drops his fangs.
No, he's attacking with a
For a
rapier.
meal?
Emil,
no, poor Emil.
Emil
No.
decidedly does not use fangs. But Emil does have multi-attack. So Emil's going to try again. And that got a 7. So that's Emil's turn. Next up is...
NPC.
What's that?
The next NPC up. Sorry.
Yes. So you know that clip I posted that was a YouTube short where the DM was regretting putting so many characters into combat that the DM controlled? And there's like, I'm just going to have my characters fighting each other. I'm sorry. Like, we can just go now. Okay, next up is someone who's going to stand in the back and wiggle their fingers.
Crash, you are cutting out for me way
lot.
bad.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not just me. Okay.
Nope.
None of you are cutting out, but I am cutting out for people.
It's... Yep.
I don't like that.
But we can hear you this time. Yeah.
This time.
Dun dun dun.
Mhm.
I'll hear you next time, Crash. Next time.
You have to be a certain
certainly
age to
hope so.
appreciate that.
I don't know what it is. It was interesting.
I was
know what that
quoting,
is.
I think, what was his name? Was it Dr. Claw? The villain from Inspector
I don't
Gadget.
remember.
That sounds
Oh.
similar.
Yeah.
Anyway, someone is wiggling their fingers in the back row.
Yes. They are going to cast a spell at Emil. And I have rolled my second nat 1 of the evening.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to
Sorry.
switch this
Good
away
thing we're
from
getting them all out of the way.
You say that. Next is Tex. There are 3 of them. There is the spellcaster. There is the one with 4 arms carrying 2 large barrels. And there's the one that appears to have a nasty looking sword with a serrated edge that is not carrying any barrels.
I need to double check something. Okay. What is true is what I thought was true.
Sorry.
That is about what Tex is thinking. How close are the ones with the sword and the one with the barrels?
Because we're doing theater of the mind, it's a little distancy,
It's a little
wistancy,
hazy.
spacey,
That's why I'm
wacy.
asking.
But I'd say they're within 10 feet of each other.
Okay.
We could
You've
set
got
up
a
on
grid.
the grid.
Yeah, it's a grid on the map here. You can set them
I'm-
up, Crash.
Okay, yes, I can put them on a grid.
Then you need to put us on the grid.
I was going to say.
Where's my measuring tool? No, I don't want to make concentric circles.
Oh no.
Okay, so right now Tex is 25 feet from the one with the. Hey,
I didn't put you back there.
I know. I hit Control Z.
I didn't know Control Z worked on that.
It does. It's kind of nifty in that
Dun dun
regard.
dun.
Ah, that's what was.
Actually, I'm going to move you all just a little bit closer so it's not a full 30 feet. There we are.
I have to remember names.
You should be able to mouse over people.
Yeah, I know. I just have to remember to do it.
Ah. Also, Hobby's name doesn't show up when you mouse over Hobby. They have no name.
Let me
They
fix
are
that.
nameless.
I'm a rogue. Of course you can't see my...
Hobby
Been
is a
through
hacker.
the salt mines with a cat with no name.
Put that
Stay
inspiration
out of
back.
the rain.
Every time I see these GIFs from hackers, I think, wow, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo was a hacker?
Yeah, no kidding.
This is before he, burned out from all the stress of computer programming and decided to just retire into life in a van with a large dog.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll take the one with the sword. Isili, you draw the big one's attention from Emil. Merrick, you take the one who's casting spells. Hobby, come in from the side.
I assume you were gesturing at whichever side.
I can do you one better than that.
Oh boy.
Isli casts
Yes,
thermonuclear
elect.
strike.
A strange spell. The only way to win is not to cast.
Apparently, when you cast it, you ascend and become death.
My.
Destroyer of worlds.
Right. Which one am I going after? The priestess or the bear?
Yes,
Or
the priestess.
Okay. So which one? I'm
And-
assuming it's this one.
Don't
The
worry about it
priestess
yet.
is the one in the middle.
Middle.
I'm establishing tactics.
Okay.
No, that's the other game. I'm updating
Text
the
charges
tokens to put names when you hover over them.
Yes.
I'll make room because Merrick's going to want to be where I was.
Oh, okay.
Also, what's Merrick's movement speed?
Let's find out.
At least 30,
Probably.
35.
35. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
You wouldn't be able to go around them from where you were. So where you are now, yes, you could have gotten to there, but getting on the opposite side, you wouldn't have been able to.
Right. Okay.
Unless they were allies. These are not allies.
Yeah, these are not allies. Okay.
And Tex has been winding this up since she started running.
Oh.
Chainbreaker.
Now in my head canon,
12 on the die
Tex
becomes
pulled out
22.
Chainbreaker, and there was a comedically large key, like a wind-up key, that Tex was turning the entire time. Because having movement of 30 feet, that's your walking movement, not your running movement. So that's Tex walking, ominously, winding up Chainbreaker. And who are you going after? The one with the sword?
See. The one with the sword.
Well, a 22 is actually going to hit. They have a decent armor class, but not that decent.
And for the first time before I get there,
Text reveals that you get paladin levels, and you've got paladin levels, and you've got paladin levels.
For the very first time, Tex reveals to the rest of the party that she's got paladin levels.
Wow.
Thunderous Smite. The first time you hit with a melee weapon attack during the spell's duration, your weapon rings with thunder that is audible within 300 feet of you. That's going to be a significant range of the town. And the attack deals...
Everyone knows what's going on.
The attack deals an extra 2d6 thunder damage to the target. Additionally, if the target is a creature, it must succeed a strength saving throw or be pushed 10 feet away.
And knocked prone.
The grid only goes for another 5 feet.
Now all of Oregano knows you're here.
We see a little grid here.
Good.
We see a little grid.
I know. I'm being silly. In any case, I can click DC 12 saving throw.
Oh.
And with a nat 20, they make the saving throw. But they're still going to take...
But they take...
2d6 thunder.
In addition to the
Thunder.
normal damage from
Yes.
Chainbreaker, so they're taking 23 points of damage total.
Thunder smite.
And that is noted. Thunder. Thunder. Thunder Smite. 15 is not going to hit.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Where are you? There you are.
Action surge.
I don't think Tex needs action surge. Tex can just do 2 attacks.
Tex wants to use a second action on her round.
Oh.
Sure.
And using the rules that we have established for a very long time.
Yes, if you have an action, you can cast a spell, and I don't care what kind of spell it is. Shield of Faith. A shimmering field appears and surrounds a creature of your choice within range, granting it a +2 bonus to their AC for the duration. Who gets the Shield of Faith?
Emil does. This is the no-look pass of Shield of Faith. She is focusing on the one with the sword, but she is also just throwing out her shield arm and spreading her fingers as she casts as the shimmering field appears around Emil.
Why are all these conditions I can add negative? I just want a little icon that says, hey, Emil's got something cool going on. You're like, well, you want to say Emil is deafened? No. What about incapacitated? No.
Oh, not good choices there. Huh?
Surprised? Well, yes, actually, he's constantly surprised at a lot of things. But that's not what we're talking about right now. I'm just going to say he's cursed because that puts a little shield icon there. It's a little circle. We'll say it's a shield.
Okie dokie.
All right.
Also, he's a vampire, so technically not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly cursed.
And That is my turn. I have
Okay.
done a talking, I have done a moving, I have done an action, I have done a bonus action, I have done my 2 attacks, and I have taken my action surge to do an additional action, which was a bonus action.
All right. Well, the four-armed one goes next, and they drop their barrels. There were no crates, only barrels.
Well, it's good that they could drop them then. All the monkeys are gone, though.
And they are going to go after the first target, the first one to attack, just happened to be Emil. So they make 3 attacks, a bite, and 2 claws or trident. They are going to go with the bite and claws because the trident is currently underneath their cloak. They weren't thinking they were going to need it. So
No one expects the flaggish Inquisition.
that is a 9. Emil is slightly tougher than getting hit by a 9.
Especially with the shield.
Especially with the shield, yes.
Ooh,
The
22 does
22
not look
is
good.
going to hit for 11 damage. And then second verse. Okay, technically third verse, but who's counting? Same as the first. And that it misses. And that's the four-armed guy's turn. It is now Merrick's turn.
Okay, Merrick's going to rage.
Okay.
Excellent.
And you know what that means.
Says it has, yeah,
Because you're a wild magic barbarian.
Roll a d8.
yeah. So I clicked on rage in the character sheet, and
Yep.
it says this feature has 2 of 4 uses per long rest remaining, and then it just says usability. Do I just click that? Or no?
You're in the chat messages now, right?
I
Oh,
clicked to make it go into the chat message.
Oh,
okay.
okay. All right.
But so go into the chat, and at the very bottom of that long list of things, there is a little
Mhm.
thing at the bottom that says open roll table wild search.
Okay, here we go.
When you get that pop up, there is a button at the
Mhm.
bottom right that says roll.
Okay, we're gonna roll. It's flashing through a bunch of things. Magic infuses 1 weapon of your choice that you are holding until your rage ends. The weapon's damage type changes to force, and it gains the light and thrown properties with a normal range of 20 feet and a long range of 60 feet. If the weapon leaves your hand, the weapon reappears in your hand at the end of your current turn.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, okay. So that, I don't know if he raged or not, but
Yes.
Yes.
yes? Okay.
That's part of the rage.
It's part of the rage. Okay, cool. So let's see. I'm gonna hit whatever's closest to me.
Well, the one in the middle is the spellcaster.
One in the middle is the spellcaster. Okay, I'm gonna hit the spellcaster with the hammer I'm using, I guess.
Okay.
You know?
Well, great
I'll try
axe
that,
is what
yeah.
you've got. But
Great axe.
if
Oh,
you
okay,
click
sorry,
on
it
the-
looked more like a hammer, but
it looks like a hammer on your character art. But
yeah,
this
it
is a
does.
pre-made, and when they made the pre-made, they gave you a great axe and gave you character art that had a hammer.
Ah, okay.
I-
see. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fret about
That's
it.
fine.
But in any case, if
Fine.
you click on the
Yeah.
great axe, that should add in the
Mhm.
chat. Like I just clicked on it and added in the chat. So now you can click attack.
Okay, I can click attack. Okay, let's see how this goes. Let me move the character sheet out of the way so I can see what happens. Looks like normal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Good.
With
Oh, wait,
a
yes, it is.
dirty 20, you're going to hit. Go ahead and click on damage.
Okay, click on damage.
Yep.
Okay, damage. Critical or normal?
Normal.
What would you like?
It's a dirty 20, not a nat 20. So
Oh.
okay,
so I'll-
17
only
points
rolled
of
a 12.
damage.
All right. Yep. All right, so I'm probably going to have hit the spellcaster twice, I think.
Well,
Unless they
you have to
a
roll
higher
again.
Something. I have to roll again?
Yeah, roll attack again
Ooh.
because you get a second attack at level
Roll
11.
attack again. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me. Oh, I just moved everybody over. Sorry. I didn't mean to.
It's just a jump to the
All
left.
right.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah.
Let's go to the right.
Yeah. All right. What was it I was supposed to do? Sorry.
Click on the
right now.
attack button again.
The attack button again. Okay.
Yes, for your
I
great
can do
axe.
that. Attack button again. Okay. Here is the attack button. That's a 9.
18.
Nope,
That's an 18,
Wow.
and for the spellcaster, funny thing, the spellcaster isn't wearing like very large scale armor or anything. They're wearing robes. So an 18 hits. Roll damage
Okay.
once more.
Mm-hmm. Roll damage once more. Okay.
Yes.
18?
13 points of damage.
Nope, 13.
13.
All right. I have applied the damage.
All right. Excellent.
Okay. Next up is Hobby.
Hobby would like to, let's see,
To have this be
Zip
all
up.
the Sahuagin so that you don't have to go into the water.
Yes.
that would be lovely. Well, actually, Hobby is going to do something first. Hobby is going to do a vow of enmity on that four-armed fella there.
A vow of
As a bonus
enmity.
action, you can utter a vow of enmity against a creature you can see within 10 feet of you. All right, she'll have to move close enough to get to it then. Poof. Using Channel Divinity. You gain advantage on attack rolls against the creature for 1 minute or until it drops 0 hit points or falls unconscious.
That just gives you free sneak attack damage.
Yes, it does. It is the vow of sneak attack. As she is drawing her knives, one of which is a +1 dagger, the other is a regular dagger, because she's using her bonus action on this thing and not on a different thing. Do I roll my dagger hits now?
I think you should.
Yes.
Oh, I think that's what comes next. That's that one. Let's move that out of the way. Normal.
Why are you rolling normal?
Oh, right. I rolled advantage because I have the advantage, don't I?
Yes, so roll again.
Okay, and we pick.
You just
take
did
the
that
best
whole
one.
thing.
Because I don't remember what it does.
Well, that's a 30.
Natural 20.
Yeah.
So-
There you go.
This is very important. You need to listen to me, Beth. I need you to roll
Yeah.
all of the d6s that Foundry has. Because
That's a lot.
when you roll a crit and you are sneak attacking, technically it should
Mhm.
double the sneak attack dice also. And if you use a smite, it should double those dice also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm definitely going to use a smite here.
So please roll crit damage for the dagger, then crit damage for sneak attack, and then crit damage for a smite.
Okay, it's not showing me how to roll the damage on the dagger.
It
It
should
did not
just go
give
up to the
me-
dagger where it's attack and damage. You clicked on attack. Just click on the button
It
that says
should.
damage.
Oh, there it is. Right. Okay, so let's click on the damage. Critical hit.
Yes. Well, it was.
Should be with a 30. Wow.
Okay.
Okay,
We're
so
going to
that's
apply that
damage
11.
for critical hit.
Now go use your sneak attack ability.
And yep. Let's find out what it is. I'm not on the other dead gun. That's my inventory feature. Sneak attack, damage, critical hit.
Yep. It was. That's
Oh my God.
that's a sizable. That's 31 points of sneak attack damage.
Wow.
And now I'd like to hit a smite. Where's my?
It is bloodied. And go ahead and smite.
Then I'd like
Go
to hit.
to your spells tab.
Okay, I don't just do it.
You're-
All right, it's in my spells tab. Got it. Spells tab. Divine Smite.
Now pick what spell slot you'd like to use.
I think I'll use a first level spell here. And I will cast the damage. It's still a critical, right?
Yep.
19.
19.
This is
I
why
think that's all the
paladin
damage
rogues
I
are so
get to do
powerful.
with that one. Yes.
So you just come over and go full angry cat on this Sahuagin.
Yes.
Is it you are a
Just a
cat out
moment,
of
I
an
have to
anime. You
inform
power
people how
up
much.
you power up your attacks to do this.
So that's 11 plus 31 plus 19. Okay, that's
Yeah,
how much damage.
I was able
In
to
one-
apply the damage because in the most recent update I can actually click on the character who you're attacking and then just click the button that says apply damage when you roll your damage.
Right.
That's very useful.
I had to inform the person who just came into the room, you see, that how much damage was being inquired.
All
So,
the damage.
Yeah, and I do get 2 attacks per round, don't I?
I do believe you have an offhand.
Do you?
Yeah, I've got an offhand one.
Yeah.
I think I get that, don't I? Is that in features? I mean, I don't know. I don't know where it's.
It's because it's a
Blade.
light weapon. You use your bonus action for that.
Oh, I can't use a
Oh.
bonus action. All right, I already used my bonus action. I guess
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah.
have to stand.
Smite
by
is the
that.
bonus action.
No,
Oh,
Standing
darn.
Pal of Enmity is a bonus
Oh,
action.
never mind.
Yes, Vow of
You are
Enmity.
correct.
Smite is not any kind of action.
I sit corrected.
Right.
Because if I stood correctly, I'd sound like I was very far away.
You only did 61 points of damage this round.
It's tragic. It's absolutely tragic.
This is not the GIF I was looking for, but it's the GIF I'm sharing.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yes.
It's like, nope. You know?
Hobby
Tex-
came
Tex when a
bounding
baby
up.
Tex when a baby kobold comes up to bite her ankle.
Yeah, it's the first shove away. Hobby
Now-
came bounding up, and when she got within 10 feet, she said, you're going down, and then proceeded to go kerslash.
Okay. Well, next up is the Blade Master, and they are going to attempt to hit Tex. They also have multi-attack, so they might actually manage to do it. They get 3 attacks with their sword. They could also bite and claw, but they have a nice sword, so why not sword?
Indeed.
Yes. So that's a crit.
That's a nat 20.
Oh, and there's a crit.
Yep.
Ouch.
And Tex, Ellie, if you have your character clicked on the map, you should just
I
be
do.
able to click apply for the damage that was rolled.
Hang on. No, I don't see it.
Okay, so it's just
I'm
I
gonna
can do
put
it as a GM.
manually. Don't worry about it. You keep going.
Okay. Well, they're going to try again. And that's a 19
19 is gonna miss.
because somebody has an AC of 20 frickin' 2.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. Tex is the tank. Well, Tex
Yep.
was hoping
Oh,
Or-
a 22 does hit.
Tex was hoping for a fight against an enemy where having an AC of 22 actually meant something. And going against the Proto-Jurors, an AC of 22 doesn't help as much as you think it does.
Yeah.
Not when their 2 hit is plus 15. No.
No, not. We're not facing anything with the 2 hit of plus 15 right now. Except maybe Hobby, apparently. So let's roll normal damage for
that was
this
just
one.
luck.
And that'll be 7 damage.
7.
7.
Well, it's not a crit.
So, were you going to try and hit me?
I think they hit you twice.
Oh.
One of
I
those looks kind of
apologize.
bad,
I
too.
hadn't noticed.
I'm not sure they speak common. I don't think they understand you.
As a reminder to non-regular listeners, Tex's face is a mask that is just an approximation of a female face. So she has no articulation. She can't grin. She can't grimace. She is implacable.
And also, she still has 124 hit points.
Yes.
Speaking of people with over 120 hit points, Isily.
Isily is going to
Cast Guardian of Faith in the center of all this.
head forwards. No. Two.
Wall of Swords.
I'm a peace cleric. I have healing spells.
You cast Green Circle.
Oh,
Oh no.
The Sahuagin begin to banter for 20 minutes.
We don't need a green circle for that.
No, the Sahuagin do
Make
it.
the NPCs do it.
Hearthkeeper, watch over those who defend their homes and the homes of others, and help us stand together. And Isily uses Emboldening Bond on the entire party, which I will add the second part that she gets because it's
Oh, neat.
she's over 6th level. The party's hit points are now fungible.
Indeed.
All right.
Oh no, I had tokens on the map. These are all fungible tokens.
Oh no!
And,
If I cared about that, I'd be very upset.
Is Tex aware of the effect of this ability?
I assume everyone is.
Tex's
It gives
face
you all an ability.
is an implacable mask.
So we don't see a wild-eyed grin.
Pretty
And,
much.
here, this should help.
Holy weapon.
Isily casts that on Tex.
Tex is the weapon.
Mhm.
Next round of combat, Tex casts
And we're going-
Fist.
And
And
Isley steps back.
Isily backs up a bit because the front line is, A, taken up, and B, she's concentrating. And that's my turn.
I'm reading over Emboldening Bond to make sure I get the mechanics correct. You create a magical bond among them for 10 minutes or until you use this feature again. While any bonded creature is within 30 feet of another, the creature can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to an attack roll, an ability check, or saving throw. Each creature can add the d4 no more than once per turn. So, congratulations, we have mass guidance. Only better.
Wow.
All right. So that takes us to the start of combat. Well, the start of the round of initiative with Emil going first. Emil is going to try to actually do something useful. And I am going to change this to a legacy character sheet because it's easier for me to find things on there right now. Not always, but currently.
Mhm.
So we're going to try for a rapier strike on the four-armed guy. Because Hobby might have worn him down a bit. And we're going to add a d4 to that because somebody said that he could. That hits.
It was 17.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Now, why are you being mean to me?
I don't know. Did I close my...
Because I should have a thing that I can do. And I'm going to drag it over from Hobby's character sheet so he can do it. So there.
Oh no. Emil, are you a rogue too?
Not quite. So, first I'm going to roll damage for the rapier. 9 damage from the rapier. And then 13 damage from a
Emil,
divine smite.
You smite too?
Because Emil might be a paladin.
Hmm.
And for Emil's second attack, which Emil wouldn't have for the level paladin Emil has, but Emil is a vampire's spawn, and that increases his power level. A 13 is not going to work unless Emil got to roll 2d4s in a turn, and Emil doesn't get that because not even Isily is that powerful yet.
Hobby
Unless
high
I
five.
cast Bless, which I didn't.
Okay, it is...
Why is the
Yeah.
sheet now the old kind of sheet?
You could change it. Hobby high fives Emil.
What am I doing?
Give me a dexterity roll. A dexterity check, specifically.
High five somebody?
You're in combat.
Oh, you want me to roll a dex roll?
Yes.
Let's see. Ability check?
Yes.
Normal.
So you got a 13, Emil got a 9. You don't actually manage to actually, I said actually more than once there. 3 times now. You do not manage to connect your palms together for the high five.
We wave happily at each other. And we're standing right side by side, so.
Emil almost barely smacks you in the forehead.
Hobby can duck. She's laughing.
The
It is the High
spellcaster
Priestess.
is going
Wiggle fingers.
to wiggle their fingers at Tex.
Oh no.
Tex, I need you to make
Oh,
a
don't
charisma
bad-
saving throw.
The
Oh.
saving throws get the plus.
You can add a d4 to that
Yeah,
also
that's
if you need to.
interesting.
Question is, are you native to a different plane of existence?
No, you're from the future. And this is Tex needing to make the roll, not Hobby.
Right.
For some
I can't
reason,
roll
Ellie managed to roll for Hobby.
Yes, I see
I
that.
had hobby selected.
Ah.
Yeah.
You have your inspiration.
The priestess attempts to
yeah, I'm gonna
banish
use it.
The priestess attempts to banish Tex. Tex redirects it to Hobby.
What do I need to beat on this?
You need to beat a
Where's the save?
14.
Okay, I am going to use my inspiration on this then. Dang it.
And
But also it's all me.
You're still
It's
rolling
still-
as Hobby, but the die roll is...
Bad.
It doesn't matter what bonus you have. You are getting banished. So you are sent to a pocket dimension. You are not from another plane of reality, so you're not sent home.
That's a logical thing to do, and also, oh crap.
Mm-hmm.
So you are, in addition to everything else, incapacitated.
Hang on a second.
Ah,
That was not taking my cloak of protection into account because I didn't have it equipped.
Okay. How much of a bonus does your cloak of protection give you?
+1.
Okay.
Unlike
9.
Hobby, I have a +8 charisma save.
oh.
So if you
Okay.
have a +8 for
Stars.
charisma saves and your first roll,
The first one was a 14.
How many times have you taken the resilient feat?
It isn't the resilient feat. It's I don't remember what it is. But
you don't even need to add the D4.
yeah, these are.
Or did it add the D4? Looks like it already added the
I
D4.
did need to add the D4.
Okay.
But
Yeah, because it's
these
3
are
from the
my
D4 if we
saves.
look at it. So you just made it.
Yes.
There has
I feel
been
myself
one
going
time,
to the pocket dimension,
and you say, not
and I
this
shove
day.
my way back into reality. Not today, Satan.
Actually, their name is Santa.
Fingers.
It's a very common mistake. They both wear red.
And yes, there has been one time in all of the campaigns that I have been in, and possibly all of your campaigns, where banishment has worked. And it's
There-
when Daldane cast it.
There is one time where one of the enemy managed to banish somebody, and they banished Zeely.
Yeah, they banished
Oh, that's
Zeely.
right. That's right.
Did Zeely have banishment? I feel like Zeely might have banished someone at some point.
That is also possible. But I like that every time we got to Zeely's turn, there was still some RP going on, because Zeely was not alone in that pocket dimension. Anyway,
I remember that.
yes. I think that was Pack Tactics Season 2, True Believers.
Might be,
Might have been Season 1. I think
Oh, that's
it
why
might
you're
have been
rolling for
Season
me.
1.
I bet you mistargeted. Did you have me targeted when you hit banishment?
Yes, I
Crash?
had you selected.
Yes.
No, I'm wondering if Crash had. Okay.
No, I did
No,
not
all
have
right,
you
it's-
selected.
it's-
I had the Blade
Okay.
Actually, no, I had the Priestess selected because I would have her casting the spell. Anyway, that's her
Okay.
action.
And now she goes, oh darn.
She sighs heavily. Casters
As she should,
everywhere
because now it's Texas.
feel a moment of sympathy, even if they shouldn't.
Because now it's Tex's turn.
No, it's not. I said that was their action.
No? Oh, their action. Okay, they haven't done
Okay.
their bonus yet. They have a bonus.
They have a bonus. They're going to cast
That's
Spiritual
awesome.
Weapon. And they are going to attempt to have the Spiritual Weapon hit Isily.
Oh, that's not fair.
Well, if you're going to be back there wiggling your
Nope.
fingers, a 19 is not going to hit you.
I'm back here wiggling my fingers in full plate with a shield.
A spectral trident materializes, and you just smack it out of the air with your shield.
Bonk.
I mean, it's still there. It doesn't go away, but the attack is
Right,
fruitless.
but,
Yes. And now there's 3 people concentrating on spells in this combat. Next up is Tex. Speaking of
Spiritual
concentration.
weapon isn't is it?
Oh, you know
Let me
what?
check.
I think it's saying concentration because it doesn't realize that Tex made the save. Banishment is concentration.
Mm.
I'm just going to turn that off. There we go.
Mhm.
It's Tex's turn.
So, you're the punks I've heard about. I'm still hitting the one with the sword.
Wow.
With a 20. Well, I mean, a dirty one.
Who are you hitting?
The one with the sword.
You just
The
said
Blade
that.
Master.
A 20 is just enough.
Okie dokie.
For some reason, I focused on what you were saying and misinterpreted it as I'm going to hit them with a sword. And I got hung up on that because I was like, no, Chainbreaker isn't a sword.
Okay.
That wasn't, you rolled a 20 with the sword you don't have. But that's not what you said. It's what I heard. It's not the same thing. Anyway, what's your damage?
Well, first I'm going to use a maneuver.
Oh no, not a maneuver. Eddie Izzard approves. Target must make a wisdom saving
It
throw.
has to.
Goading attack. So they have to attack you if they don't make the
Yes.
wisdom saving throw.
They don't have to attack me, but they have disadvantage on attacks against anybody but me.
Well, they didn't make it because I rolled a 15.
Darn. 8.
Also, except for Hobby and Merrick,
That's
Miss Berry.
messed up. That is not the right number. That spell is not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to roll 2 of those or 4 of those, and instead it decided to roll 6 of those.
No.
eeny,
I'm
meeny,
gonna go
miny,
ahead
oh,
and
why not all of them?
Pretty much. So that's 18 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Not the 31 that was originally reported. The,
Right.
Alas.
the newspaper apologizes for the misinformation.
18 total damage, not the 45 that was initially reported.
Okay. I have entered that damage. Are we good?
Hobby, go.
Hobby is going to hit what's in front of her, which is the Baron here, Mr. Forearms, with the actually hang on one moment. Let me think. Do I get another bonus action
No,
of anything
not until
that's
your turn
entertaining?
starts. This is not technically your turn.
Okay.
This is still
Okay,
Texas'
in that
turn.
case I go with got it. So let's see. Where is my dagger +1? But do I get to do this at
You do get to do this
Advantage?
with the D4.
do I get to do it with advantage because I still have my vow of you're going down.
Don't see any reason why not.
Yes, and you get to use the
Crash?
D4, yet you do have the vow in place, so you've got that going for you. And
Mhm.
also, because the vow is like all attacks have advantage against that one target, not one attack per turn. And you didn't use the D4 this action.
So if I need to. I can't use another sneak attack because
You can't
That's once
sneak
per
attack,
turn.
but you can make an attack and add a D4 to the roll.
I'm
okay.
At
So
advantage.
I will in fact 1d4. I'll just put that in. Sure.
Oh, it only rolled 1d4
18?
when you were rolling at advantage. I was wondering if it would do the math that way. And it did. And 18's going to hit. Roll your damage.
Okie dokie. Damage.
gonna
A 9.
now I'm gonna
Right.
argue with you here, Crash,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and I think I'm right. Sneak attack doesn't say on your turn.
It
Sneak
does.
attack
Oh,
says
right, yeah.
once.
Once
Sneak
per
attack says
turn.
once per turn.
But it was
Not once
used
per round.
already.
It's my turn. It's my turn, not once per round. Once per turn.
You know what? We've been
Yeah.
playing for over 2 hours, so I'm going to allow it regardless. I will not argue the point one way or the
This
other.
is-
I'm just going to say, Hobby, roll your sneak
Also,
attack dice and end this Baron.
Also,
Well,
I
want to roll my-
just looked up the official ruling. It is once per
Yeah.
turn, not
Yeah.
once per character turn.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, in that
This
case,
is
I'm
one of
gonna
those
roll my
things
sneak
where
attack.
somebody's going to make a YouTube short
first.
talking about how you have a 2-player combination that basically lets a Rogadin end people.
Yeah, it's almost never do rogues get to attack off their turn, except on opportunity attacks, which is where this comes up.
Ah.
And the official rule is yes, you can roll sneak attack on opportunity attacks if you have advantage.
Well,
And this is okay.
and you have that vow,
And
which
I
gives
have
you advantage on all attacks. And you've done 15 points
Yes.
of damage. So, Hobby, how do you do this?
Oh, well, I think that Hobby is going to basically all but crawl up the. I mean, do the sort of cat thing where you sort of go zip, 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 crawl up the backside of it, so at least as far as she can, and go. I said you're going down, and slit its throat.
Ooh.
Shadow of the Colossus.
And I'm going to hold that smite for another attack somewhere.
Okay.
X has been watching Hobby the entire time and slowly turns her face back to the other two Sahuagin.
All right.
Okay. Is the Sahuagin Baron's turn. It stands for another 5 seconds before it begins to fall over. Now it is Merrick's turn.
Okay, so Merrick's gonna hit the one wiggling their fingers in front of him, if he can. And I'm trying
Okay.
to figure out like.
So
where
click
to-
on your Great X
how do I
plus
do
1.
that? Okay. Let me find it. X plus. Where is that?
It is
Sorry, I
going
was
to
looking
be
at, like, the other
in your
sheet, and now
inventory.
I'm not sure. Yeah. Inventory. Okay. Grade X plus 2. It says.
A plus 2, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead and click. If you mouse
And-
over the Great X plus 2, the icon turns into a D20. Click on the D20. And now you should be able to
Okay.
see an attack button in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Here's an attack button. Got a 17.
And
Nope,
a 17
26.
will, well, it turns it into a
Uh,
26 with your bonuses. Roll your
I'm
damage.
not sure 26 is going to hit.
Yeah, okay, so
I mean, they're
gonna,
not tax.
Slam the great. Yeah.
Click on the damage button.
Merrick's gonna. Oh, damage button. Okay, damage. Normal. I
Yes.
assume? Gives me a
Okay, that's
5,
10
so
points of
10.
damage.
Okay. I don't know if I can do that again or not.
You can do that one more time.
You can.
Okay.
Well, you can certainly
More
try.
Damage.
No, you can roll
I can
attack.
try. Oh, I
No,
can
no.
roll attack. I hit damage. So that probably
A
doesn't
13
count.
is not going to hit, but you need to roll a D20.
Yeah.
Click on the attack button, not damage.
Okay.
Yeah. A
17.
26 with your bonuses is going to
Yep.
hit. Now we roll damage.
Okay. Now we roll damage.
The number of times that people have picked up a D12 instead of a D20 to roll an attack is
Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
it's a common event.
13?
Yeah, that was 13.
13 points of damage. Okay.
Okay.
And actually, did you take any damage at all? No, no one is. You took 4 points of damage from what?
I don't know.
I don't
Paper
think anyone
cuts?
hit you.
I don't think so. I don't remember.
I don't know how you. I don't know why you would have any damage at all. Anyway,
I don't know either. Yeah.
because you have an ability that triggers if someone hurts you, but no one's
Oh.
targeted you. They've targeted Text, Emil, and Hobby, and you're just
Yeah, that's probably.
yeah. You're the halfling, so they keep swinging over your head to hit Tex or Emil.
Ah, okay, that makes sense, you know? It's like, you missed me again. I'm down here.
They weren't aiming for you.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, all right. So it is now Hobby's turn. All of Hobby's abilities refresh.
Hobby uses her bonus action to point to the high priestess and says, "You're next." Step.
And Hobby just moves diagonally over to the priestess. If the priestess tries to run, there's going to be 4 characters, 4 of them, who get attacks of opportunity.
Ooh.
I mean, if she falls down and cowers, I might, but so let's just take that dagger, and I need to do an attack, and I do it with advantage, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
No.
Okay.
Well, yes, because the vow was just transferred over.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Will
A 25
You
is
can do
going
that.
to hit.
Yes! It's my bonus action. Okay, so I get to do a sneak attack.
The downside of it is rogues do
Versus
so
a
many
regular
things with
attack.
bonus actions. The bonus action of comedy
Sneak
is somewhat weakened by this, but also that gives you advantage on all things, which lets you roll 4d6. How are you ending the priestess?
Do I have the ability to knock her unconscious instead of killing her?
Give me a dexterity save.
A save. Okay.
Yes.
Let me double click this. Dexterity save. Normal.
Yes.
And I use my 1d4 on it.
If you haven't used it yet this turn, you may.
I have not used it yet this turn.
See, why not?
Okay. With a 29,
You did not need.
But I
No.
wanted to.
this is true. You did not need the D4. but you could have because you were rolling against what you rolled for your attack that hit. Your target number was the 25 that you rolled.
Nice.
Yes. You're trying to do smite damage non-lethally.
Well, sneak attack damage non-lethally. I haven't smote
Still,
yet on that
yes.
one. But yes.
Daggers are not known for their non-lethality. Anyway, yes, you are able to render the High Priestess unconscious. Next up is the Blade Master. What's that?
While rendering unconscious, just as a color sort of thing, grab a handful of whatever Miss Wigglefingers here is wearing and just sort of start dragging her towards my square.
Okay. Totally for flavor, because game mechanics wise, we can't do that this turn. But certainly, it is the Blade Master's turn. They attempt to book it.
I wanted to note one thing that was fun for me, which is that when Hobby killed the Baron, she did not use the plus 1d8 damage that I gave her from my commanders.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't necessary. After that crit that bloodied it, it wasn't necessary to take it down the rest of the way. So yes, Tex and Merrick are getting attacks of opportunities, if they so wish it, against the Blade Master as they're attempting to book it. It was a calculated effort. So Tex, go ahead and roll your attack, and Merrick, you can also roll an attack.
Okay, figure out how to do that.
Go to your inventory and click on the Great Axe, and you're doing a normal attack, not advantage.
Okay, Great Axe. There we go.
All right.
Normal attack?
Yes.
I don't think I did
And
anything
Tex,
for
you
that.
can do the
Just
same
attack.
thing.
Normal.
Normal
There we go.
attack. A 24 is going to
24.
hit, so roll your damage.
Okay. Damage.
That was
16 on
another attack. Oh, that was Tex's attack. Tex,
Yes.
remember your D4.
Oh, yeah.
Do I get the... What was it, a plus something that Tex gave everybody?
You didn't
Doesn't
need it.
matter.
Isli gave a...
Yeah, Isli gave a
Right.
D4 that you could have added if you needed it, but you already hit, so you
Okay.
didn't need to add it.
Oh. Okay, that's fine.
Tex needed it, but it unfortunately didn't. The 2 didn't make the 17 into a 20. So
Okay.
that is a hit. The Blade Master is bloody, and they start running off.
Tex
Oh,
hit.
wait, I did hit?
No, Tex did not.
Merrick
Merrick
hit.
did. Merrick did. Tex did not.
Yep.
If I said otherwise, that's
With a
because
19?
a 19 does not hit. Its AC is 20.
Oh,
Okay, then
Well,
I'm using
Tex is
precision
gonna hit
attack.
with.
Oh,
go for it.
Do you get to do that as a reaction?
what?
I get to do that on any attack.
A 1 brings it up to
Attack
20.
roll, add it
You
to
hit. 16 points of damage. Okay.
And 9 more.
And
Plus the 16 that Merrick did.
since it was leaving my square, since it was leaving the square that was directly in front of me, thanks to my crusher feat, I move it to the square directly next to me.
He doesn't like that.
No, I can't imagine. He can keep going if he wants. But when you've got a character who can shove people around, sometimes they shove people around.
Yep.
That's
Well-
fair.
You've already used your reaction. So the Blade Master
I have
then uses what's left of the movement to really try to run away this time.
to flee.
Yes.
Fortunately, I have alerted the town guard.
Because you cast Thunderous Smite.
Yes, at the
So,
very beginning.
yes, the Blade Master attempts to run, and they get about 20 feet from you. And then the ground turns an inky black, and tentacles of darkness that are so cold that you see frost coming off of them rise up out of this void that you kind of half expect to see cat eyes in, but only half expect.
Big ones.
And wrap around the Blade Master. They attempt to struggle, but not for very long. They start to freeze, and ice crystals are forming. Their cloak no longer billows. It is stationary because it's frozen solid, which is some feat because they were soaked with salt water. And Tim approaches.
Well, I will say you're not quiet about the work that you do, but it's appreciated.
I thought perhaps you would like to be informed.
You're already the talk of the town, and you've been here, what, 15 minutes?
Maybe 30.
In a session that we're nearing
Actually,
2.5 hours.
It's about 2 hours and... I think it's about 2 hours and 20 minutes.
No, you do understand that in combat, time slows down and 6 seconds can take an hour and a half.
That's very true.
Yes.
However, I was standing outside that shop for a long time.
I told the shopkeep not to decorate the door with a green circle. He didn't seem to understand why it was a bad idea.
At least I didn't try to charge the door.
That's appreciated. We don't have a lot of trees here. You've seen the state of the
Yes,
houses.
I see that.
Got a hostage.
So I see.
Point.
Indeed.
Now we just need to find someone who can speak Sahuagin. And that's where we're going to end it for tonight.
Service.
We ended on Tech saying, "I'm sure I can be of service." And then the credits roll.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everyone for playing. This went a bit longer than I wanted it to, but that's what happens when you start combat in the second half of the game. With new characters. And old ones. And new characters.
Our best to... and we did our best to wrap it up quickly.
And
what do you think all of the...
And most of the characters, if not all of them, have abilities that allow more dice to be rolled every time someone rolls dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It's
a lot
fun.
of dice.
Yes, it
That's a
was
lot of
fun.
dice,
I had
yes.
fun. I hope you did. Tonight I was joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Beth, Ellie, Io, and Jen. Would anyone care to plug a thing?
Io's mom writes books at elizabethmccoy.com. And they're ebooks, and that means that you can ask your library to check them out on their Overdrive catalog, and then you could read them for free while I still get paid, and that's wonderful. And speaking of
Also,
books...
Elizabeth-McCoy.com and TerranAlchemy.com, both of which have recently been renewed.
Ooh, thank you.
All right.
Because once
And
you bought a
speaking of
domain,
books-
you never want it to expire.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So my website is bookofjen.net. It's got a variety of things on it, depending on whatever I feel like writing about at the moment. That's just how it goes. There's some video game stuff. There's some other stuff. And it's been around for a while, so I don't have all of it in memory. But yeah, it's bookofjen.net. There are book reviews at the top now, and I'm just trying to add some more. Other than that, I'm the host of the Shattered Soulstone podcast, which is mostly about the Diablo games from Blizzard Entertainment. The changes they make. Diablo 4 has been really, really fun for me right now. I managed to kill Lilith. That was great.
Oh, great.
She did kill me 3 times first, but I got her. And yeah, so new episodes come out every Saturday, and I'll be putting one together very shortly after I stop talking now.
And speaking of websites, if you're a Patreon, you'll be getting this before I set it up. But if you're not, and you're listening to it through the normal podcast feed, then I'll have a website at noel.codes or noel.town. I haven't really decided yet. Anyway, it'll be there. And speaking of other websites,
We have a few. If you want to hear more podcasts, we take all of these podcasts we do and put them on aaronbsmith.com/cogwheel. Yes, you can find these wherever good podcasts are distributed, but not all podcasts are distributed evenly. So go there to get the RSS feeds and put them into your podcatcher of choice. Unless it's not a good podcatcher and doesn't accept RSS feed imports, in which case, find yourself a better podcatcher that doesn't do gatekeeping. Next up, we are also on the Fediverse, so you can follow us on the Fediverse at is.ambysmith.com/@cogwheel. And we have a Patreon, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming, where you can go to help us keep the lights on and give money to throw into that bottomless pit we call a hobby. Because at this
Not
point,
that hobby, the other
Not
hobby.
that hobby. Yes.
you throw cat treats into that bottomless pit called hobby.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
But in doing so, you join other illustrious patrons like Ellie, Shanshan, Walter, new patron Liv Droman. Welcome. And patron emeritus Cindy. And until next time, this is Crash saying,
Well, they seem nice.
good night, everybody.
I am nice.